Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in Game 2 in his best of... Actually, I'm not even sure what the series is best of, but anyways, Game 2 in this series between ESC Goody versus Sase here on Pawn Re. One of the reasons why I decided to cast this series is it has so many new maps. I know a lot of you guys are just tired of seeing the same old maps. I am looking forward to trying to cast more games on the more recent 1.22 or what should be known as the 1.30 maps, and as soon as those games become more popular and they are uploaded, I will try to cast those games on the high level matchups. We now have a pylon and a supply depot being built by Goody and by Sase. So Sase and Goody, Protoss versus Terran. Protoss spawning on the top left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Goody spawning on the bottom right hand side of the map. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. Now, with the number of just expansions and the way, oh my goodness, stop that. With the number of expansions and the way that this map plays out, both players should easily take their first expansion within the first couple of minutes. It should take some time before the player tries to take their next expansion though. So we'll see what exactly happens and how these particular players will try to open up. There is the barracks now being built on the front door, pretty standard. The tech lab can go right here, completing off that wall in and not requiring another supply depot. A probe will be able to make it up into the ramp. Wow, we'll be able to make it up the ramp in just a moment. And now an SCV also going out to try to do some scouting as well, but it does get stopped by that probe first. The probe taking a little bit of damage and now wandering around on the inside. The refinery is currently in play. 3 SCVs are on there. So pretty much Sase knows everything he wants to know. He knows that it is not going to be a very aggressive marine rush, and he can go about his normal builds. The cybernetics core now coming into play, opting to not go for that early zealot. Instead, we'll be chrono boosting that one stalker out of there and trying to get a very strong economy going. Goody, known for his Marine Marauder SCV and push counter with those concussive shells. We'll see if he gets any mileage out of this time, or if it will just fail like it has against Todd and some of the other players. But it does put a lot of early pressure, and especially that this map pawn rate is significantly smaller than Tall Dream Altar. The walking distances should help them out significantly. So we'll see what's going to be happening in just a moment. Supply depot is already down. Marauders now being trained. 2 Marauders. Concussive shell research should finish by the time it gets over there. A Zealot now tries to make its way down in order to push back that SCV, and there will be 2 military units coming in from Sase by the time that this Marauder, 2 SCVs and a Marine now try to make their way out. So those SCVs are there just to absorb damage. It is a fairly useful strategy as those SCVs can take a significant number of hits. We can now see that the probe down over here was able to catch sight of the Marauders and SCVs trying to make their way out. For some reason, that one SCV doesn't realize that it can mineral path through, and now doing a bunker. So Goody, instead of opting to try to rush in, is now going for a bunker instead. And now you can see the probes and now the stalkers and zealots, and they're just simply waiting and they're looking to see where exactly this rush is, and they don't see anything just quite yet. And this may be causing Sase a little bit of confusion, as he knows that there has to be something outside the doors here. SCV now trying to come up, now trying to pull back around. This one SCV is rather low on hit points. The Zealot may get taken down in just a moment. The SCV trying to join in on that fight, and down it goes. 2 SCVs. There is a bunker for a decent retreat. Now 1 SCV will get taken down, and the Marauder able to finish off that probe as well. And this bunker is just going to sit here and perhaps deny an expansion, as it also lags up my computer just a little bit. Who knew I needed a new computer already? My i7 no longer able to run StarCraft 2 and record. Oh, that's gonna be an expensive rebuild. Anyways, back into the game. Double bunker, or double Marauders in the bunker now. Any units that try to make their way down are gonna have a very difficult time. Sase knows about the bunker on the low ground, knows that he cannot push out, and that means that he's gonna be stuck on one base. But take a look at this. Sase, being the sneaky player he is, now going for a Void Ray down in this position here. So if Void Rays are able to push out and we do not have any Vikings, then Goody is going to be in a world of hurt. But now we have siege tanks and a Viking now being trained. So that one Viking, more than enough to deal with Void Rays. Vikings move faster than Void Rays, have a superior range than Void Rays, and with that can kite a lot of units. You can now see Sase trying to train up more and more Void Ray. Should be training up a Void Ray in just a moment. There it is, now being chrono boosted as well. Perhaps we'll be warping in some units down there as well. To a Stalker now quickly just getting punished in the back there. And the problem now is Sase needs to have sentries, and Stalker quickly getting taken down with that double bunker there. So double bunker with double Marauders, four Marauders with a range of 7 dealing so much damage, and now another pylon being warped in here. So interestingly enough, he is now warping in additional units, a lot of Zealots and Void Rays. The Zealots are there to try to counter any Marines, and the Void Rays are there to counter the, Marauders, but there are going to be some Vikings. Where is that Viking? The Viking now maneuvering around, able to gain sight into here. The Stalkers now trying to fight back, but I believe Goody has to be suspicious of something. There's only 3 gateways, and that is it. No robotics facility, no Twilight Council, and this is one of those situations where you cannot take your opponent for granted. You can think, oh yeah, he doesn't have very much, but at the 8-minute mark, he should significantly have more. Stalkers and Stalkers, 2 Void Rays and 2 Zealots and a Sentry now making their way out. This expansion this base is going to have a little bit of problems, as we also have some Stalkers and 2 Void Rays. All those Void Rays going to be able to get some damage. The Viking now going to come in and engage. The Viking now taking some damage, and we are going to get some damage onto that front door here. The Sentry, the Marines now trying to get some damage onto that Void Ray. Void Ray now pulling back. There is that force field. Zealots now able to charge through. SCVs now trying to make their way through. 2 siege tanks, and be able to hold that line there as that Viking and another supply depot trying to rebuild. But I believe the Stalker should be able to finish that down and now get a lot of damage onto that supply depot, perhaps even take down this SCV over here. Viking trying to engage, but unable to really get any serious damage at all. And now that one Void Ray just charging up, trying to get up to full attack, and now pulling away once again. We also have an expansion here, so Sase being very, very gutsy, taking a low ground, high yield mineral expansion already, and now 2 Vikings in position here. What will these Void Rays do? No, the Void Rays are not doing anything at all. 1 Void Ray would be all that it would take to just shut down this bunker over here and make Goody pay for this bunkering attempt. And what was a decent bunkering able to take down and contain Sase is now no longer effective at all. Why is he pushing out with those Zealots? Not quite sure. 2 Void Rays would have been enough to handle it, but he doesn't know that there's only Marauders inside, no Marines whatsoever, and down go these bunkers. So the bunkers have been easily taken care of, losing an SCV there. 1 SCV was able to scout out the Nexus down over here now, and this SCV gonna run straight on into a group of Stalkers. So those Stalkers able to shut that down, and now more probes being transferred to the natural expansion. We are waiting for an expansion to be laid down here. Missile turrets trying to be built, but it doesn't look like it will be up in time. That missile turret will get taken down, and things are not looking good for Goody at all. This expansion, and Guardian Shield now being used, and now that the Orbital Command Marines now trying to fight back and forth. This Orbital Command going to land, unable to land. Zealots do not have Zealot charge though, so they're not able to get within a decent firing range, but there are a lot of siege tanks on that high ground, making it very, very difficult for him to really push out. So siege tanks now slowly making their way through, able to continue to push. The Stalkers are still there trying to get some more damage onto those Vikings. 3 Vikings against 2 Void Rays. 1 Void Ray down to 2 hit points already, and it is going to slowly regenerate its shields. That the expansion down over here though, Sase now has a very, very decent expansion, and now going after some of those Marines. Stalkers getting stuffed down over there, getting split up with the rest of the group, going the low road. Yeah, taking the high road and the low road, and they do not meet each other up on the other side. An expansion now being placed down over here at the 9 o'clock location. So 9 o'clock expansion, the natural expansion for Protoss, in addition to the 7 o'clock high yield mineral expansion. The Stargate no longer training up any additional Void Rays. So just am confined to only using 1 Void Ray so far. There is that Void Ray back over here. It does have 100 shields and 2 hit points. 1 observer now will be making its way out. In order to get some sight here. Goody, taking a look at his economy, sitting at what, 36 harvesters. He does have 3 mules, so those mules will give him a very strong economic lead in just a moment. But he is mining less gas at this time. Only it says there is 3. Oh, finally bringing 3 SCVs over after they were done repairing there. So the Stalkers are continuing to try to push siege tanks over here. There are a lot of Void Rays, but a decent number of Vikings, and now Goody going for a very, very mech heavy strategy against Protoss. Stalkers melt against siege tanks. Those siege tanks also have a very fast attack rate. Vikings can come into ground mode in order to try to fight back and deal more damage towards those units as well. Siege tanks now on the move along with those Marines, Vikings in the air, those Stalkers deciding to try to run away, and it looks like this very large army of Goody is going to engage here, and now a lot of damage is being dealt. The Stalkers are trying to run away. Sentries and the Zealots are the slower units, and there's the force fields, nicely placed. One sentry, even though it did get shot down, was able to stop that aggression, and now siege tanks barreling their way into the expansion location here. There are a lot of siege tanks. The siege tanks are going to start blasting away. The Void Ray was taken down and now battling it out once again, and now Sase's army is pretty much non-existent at this stage in time, as Goody still has a large number of siege tanks. Siege tanks working out so well, very, very effective, and now even destroying this the Nexus down over here. So it is going to be 2 base versus 2 base, as the probes looking to see where they can go, warping in another Nexus there. I believe the Marines and the Marauders are going to destroy that Nexus. Is it going to get canceled? It should get canceled. The probes now coming in to try to get us around, going to finish off some of those Void Rays, sorry, some of those Marauders, so those Marines cannot take down the Void Rays, but the army of Goody continuing to push out a large number of siege tanks and Marines with Vikings, and I believe Sase will be forced to say GG. So what a turnaround here on Pa Ray. Stalkers now trying to put their back, trying to move back into this location. The Void Rays have been shut down. Too many units. Goody having a 2100 mineral army versus 150. And there's the GG coming in from Sase. So Sase winning game 2 in this series between Sase and Goody here on Pa Ray.